Welcome to the Lisbon Sessions with David Russell of New Frontiers, exploring the Portugal Golden Visa journey with leading experts across the industry. In the 10th episode of the series, David Russell meets with Diogo Capela of LaMares, Capela and Associados.
Right, hello everybody, welcome to another edition of the Lisbon Sessions with myself, David Russell from the New Frontiers Fund. I'm joined by Diogo here from LaMares, Capela Advogados here in Lisbon, one of the leading Golden Visa law firms. Diogo, you've been traveling, you do a lot of traveling actually, you go to various events across the world. You were recently in one in the US. Tell us a little bit about that, just what people were doing, what they were saying, why they were attending.
Normally, I just go for events related with immigration, David. Those are the ones that are more interesting to us. People are keen to understand more about our Golden Visa program and all other ways to access Portugal and get the residence card. So normally I like to be part of some panels explaining to people who are attending what is the Golden Visa and the advantages for them to have the Golden Visa in Portugal.
And where in the States were you? Is there any one part of the States that's kind of like a hot spot at the moment for Golden Visas?
I don't think so. Actually, we found out that people are trying to reach out to Portugal and obtain the Golden Visa, and there's no specific location for that. Basically, we'll have people for all around the US, and it's quite surprising to have this.
Because most people always think, oh, it's more maybe the democratic voters on the coasts, but that's actually not true. There's a whole host of people throughout the continental US.
Sure.
And where were you most recently, Diogo?
I was in Newport Beach.
Oh, okay. Pretty nice part of the world in California.
It is.
Buddies actually lives there.
It is.
So, and what were people saying? Was this in reaction to the Trump presidency, or were they thinking about this prior to that?
So I went in January, so it was just, we already knew that Trump has been elected. And the expectations about what would come next were very, very relevant. People were discussing this very much, trying to understand the impact that this would have in the industry, not only for people that are looking for some programs overseas and looking to relocate, but also for people that are actually applying for US visas as well. So this discussion was very interesting, so we could explore some of the potential scenarios from Trump's election.
And if I'm a United States citizen sitting in Newport Beach or somewhere in the middle of Texas, watching this video now on YouTube, what are my next steps if I'm looking and considering second residency? Why Portugal, and how quickly can I get into this program?
Right, so our clients normally start by drafting a power of attorney, granting us powers to act on their behalf. We help them in the first time when they really don't know where to invest and which are the types of investments eligible for the Golden Visa. We go through the types of investments they can have, and later on, as soon as they decide, we start by getting their taxpayer number in Portugal, which would be the first step of the process. This is the NIF number. And later, it's a tax ID, basically. And later, we start by, we also do the we open a bank account for them in Portugal, because that is mandatory for the entire process. They will actually need to transfer the funds to invest in the Golden Visa from an overseas bank account to a Portuguese one, so they can apply later for the Golden Visa. And in the meantime, we will be informing the client about all the documents related with the Golden Visa application and what is needed, so we can revise all the documentation. And as soon as the investment is performed, for example, in your fund, 500,000 euros in your particular fund, what will happen is that we will be able to gather all the documentation, not only coming from the client and also from his family or her family, but also from the bank itself and the fund. As soon as we have all together, we can apply for the Golden Visa and wait for the analysis from the immigration agency.
And what sort of, just ballpark, we're not holding you to anything, but are we talking sort of maybe 8 weeks, 10 weeks from somebody giving you a call to actually the funds being invested or getting things moving? What's the
normally 8 weeks. I would say yes. 8 weeks would be a good timeline for us to have all things settled, and depends of course on the client, and depends very much on the bank account opening process. Okay, there are some clients that go through some compliance on the bank. This is not for the US citizens. Normally they just pass through the compliance and they don't really need to go through this stage of the process for opening a bank account. But there are some nationalities to whom we work with, and they also they will need to wait until the bank does all the procedures about their
I understand
everything, and check everything related to them.
A few more checks, but don't give up with it.
No.
A few more hoops to jump through.
I've never seen one Golden Visa client that was unable to open a bank account in Portugal. Maybe it can take longer, of course, but it's not something that they might be losing their faith on having the Golden Visa because of that, of course.
Now, one thing I think I'll just mention briefly at this juncture, Diogo, before we wrap up, is for US investors in the Golden Visa, just double check with gentlemen like Diogo as well regarding your bank account, because it's become apparent that some of the banks in Lisbon, when we transfer the investment funds to the bank, which an investor will show proof of and can be shown to the government to prove the Golden Visa, some of the US clients have been unable to hold those units. So we won't obviously mention any banks on here, but basically just double check as US citizens. There's lots of banks in Portugal that would love to hold your investment assets, but just double check before you open an account with them, because it just wastes your time.
Right.
In the meantime, guys, you've been watching another edition of the Lisbon Sessions with myself, David Russell from New Frontiers, one of the leading private equity funds to qualify people for the Golden Visa. And Diogo has kindly joined me from LaMares, Capela, Advogados, one of the leading Golden Visa law firms out there helping people apply for the Golden Visa. Diogo, it's been great having a nice wander on a beautiful February afternoon. We hope you have enjoyed it, guys. We'll see you next time on the Lisbon Sessions. Cheers.
Thank you.